Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about tips for a young, successful professional, how to do good investing. So first of all, build a solid foundation. It's very important to know that when you're young, maybe when I'm saying young, I mean below 25, you're just about starting your life. The most important thing to do is make sure you have a financial plan. Make sure that all your risks are covered. If you're supporting your family, you need life insurance. If you're not supporting your family, you may not need life insurance. If your company is providing you for medical insurance, you may not need medical insurance at this stage. Maybe by the time you're 30, you can sit down and decide how much of medical insurance you need. Right now, you can go with a company cover. That should be good enough for you. But putting all these things in place is far more important for you than to worry as to what returns you are getting on your investment. Returns matter only after the corpus is reasonably big sized, right? So suppose you are doing a 15,000 rupee SIP. So end of 1 year you have 1,80,000. On that 1,80,000, what return you get is not half as important as to whether you are investing 30% of your income or investing 90% of your income. The girl who is investing 90% of her income will get better returns than the boy who is investing 30% of his income, simply because she is putting more money to work. It's as simple as that, right? So know that. First of all, put your financial plan in place, cover all your risks, see what risks are not covered. Covering all that is more important than worrying about the rate of return that you are getting. Second, look at you and your family in the mirror. Look at it very closely. If your father, mother, etc. have never invested, if your parents, your cousins, nobody has ever invested in the share market, chances are they will dissuade you. They'll say, don't put money in the share market. It is for gamblers. It is not for us. We are not Sindhis. We are not Gujaratis. We are not Marwaris. So we should not, so we should not be investing. We are Tamilians, Bengalis, Maharashtrians, Keralites, whatever. Every other community, there is lot of fear of investing. It may not be true. The stereotypes are being broken. I've got equity portfolio running back 65 years. So it's not that everybody is like that, but yes, there could be somebody like that also. So look at the mirror, at your family and at everybody else who are likely to influence you. Explain to them that markets can go down 50% in our lives at least once. Okay, if you're a 40-year if you're going to have an investment life of 50 years, at least once or twice you will see a 50% fall in your portfolio. 30% fall you will see 4 or 5 times. 10% fall you will see every year, right? You will see a 10% fall and then it might recover and end the year at 22% plus, but you will see a 10% fall. So all these things will happen. How you react to the drawdowns is the most important thing in whether you get a good return. So in March 2020, if you had panicked like some of my friends did and removed the money, that could have been the worst decision of your investing life ever, right? So the question is, in 2020, if you had only 1 lakh of rupees in the market and you withdrew or did not withdraw, it is not going to matter, because 2020 to 2024, if you have invested another 2 lakhs every year, so you have invested another 8 lakhs. So that impact of removing that 1 lakh or 75,000, whatever you removed, would not be so bad for a very young investor. But for an older investor who would say 55 in 2020 and he panicked and he removed say 5 crores or 55 lakhs or whatever, so depending on the size of his portfolio, if he removed, then in 4 months he would have been regretting, or she would have been regretting having done that. So look at yourself in the mirror, look at your immediate family in the mirror and say how much will they support me. And one more thing is, if you are young and you're just starting out in your career, you're a lawyer, you're a chartered accountant, or you're an MBA, but you're working with a law firm, you're working with a with an investment banker, you're working with an asset management company, please go and see the restrictions that are there on you for investing. You may not be able to invest in many companies. Let's say you are just a manager in an audit firm, right? But you're doing audit of Larsen and Toubro. Very good chance that Larsen and Toubro would have some covenant saying anybody who is doing audit should not have even a single share. That's it. It's a covenant. So look for those kind of things, because that will mean no stock picking at all for you. Very clearly you will have to go only into mutual funds, and that restriction may be applicable to your spouse and children also. It may not apply to your parents. So see what is happening, and if you are in a position where you're getting sensitive information, please stick to mutual funds, because there will always be some temptation. There is always a chance that you will speak to some friends about it, and friends will say, "Arey, don't worry, we will buy it on your behalf and do this and do that." Don't get into that kind of a mess. It can completely ruin your life. Not too many people will tell you this. Keep away from greed, right? So greed is a very all-encompassing thing, right? It is more, it's not so much of fear of missing out or things like that. Yes, of course, all that is there, but greed, envy, these can completely wreck your life and wreck your portfolio. So your strategy will develop out of the honesty, saying what you're capable of doing, what you're allowed to do, and then doing it, right? Don't find shortcuts to do things which you should not be doing. There is no right way of doing a wrong thing. So if it's a wrong thing, don't do it. Just don't do it, right? Of course, it makes sense that if you have restrictions on where you can invest, best is to invest in an index fund, because it allows you to diversify. And in a portfolio, you have one advantage, that if it goes down like it did in March 2020, you can buy more because you're 100% sure that the index will come up. Whether the particular share that you bought may come up or not come up, I have no clue. But the chances are that when the index goes down, you can put more money, you can do a bigger SIP, or you can say, okay, it may take 3 years to come back, but I have the patience and ability to sit tight because I don't need that money. My insurance is my job. This is not going to matter to me because I'm still very young, right? So I'm still talking to the young advisor, young investor. So diversify because it reduces risk, and there is enough research to show that all the returns have been got by only 4%. 30 stock portfolio is enough, but you don't get into all those theories of how to invest. Simple, stick to an index fund. That's good enough for you. See what is happening in the market. Watch the focus. See what changes are happening, right? In 2001, I was sure that telecom in India will fail because it was 38 rupees for a call, some 20 rupees for an incoming call, and right. So I said, no way how in this country telecom will penetrate. But in comes Dhirubhai's son Mukesh Bhai and drops rates so low that everybody today has a phone. Jio, all YouTubers must thank Jio for making data so cheap. Otherwise, our videos won't get consumed. Frankly, if somebody had to pay 25 rupees to watch each of my episodes, I have no clue whether 50,000 people would subscribe. People would be hesitant, right? People don't pay. You don't pay me money, but remember, Google Ads, which you see, transfers money to me. So there is some way how you're paying, but you're not paying directly, and you're paying a fraction of the price which you would have paid maybe even in 2014 when data was far more expensive. So remember those advantages that you have as an investor. You have data which is very low cost, which means you can go and read and watch videos of good investors and find out what they did, right? So you can't copy paste, but you can definitely see what they were doing. So watch your focus, see what is happening in the market. If you think some industry is doing very well, telecom is past, maybe retail is past, something, gaming or something like that is doing very well, it's time that you concentrated on that, because such stocks will not reach the index in a hurry. So maybe you put money in a technology fund and that fund manager goes and puts money somewhere else. So diversification is good, but diversification is also compulsory for people working in companies where sensitive information reaches them. You could be audit, you could be legal, you could be fund management, anything, any field, right? So be careful about that. Be careful about greed. Be careful about how you measure success, right? That's also important. Do you measure success because, saying, my portfolio did 20%, whereas the index did 12%, so I'm very smart. Do you attribute your returns to your smartness? Then you're completely wrong. There is enough evidence to prove that your IQ doesn't matter. What matters is your EQ. Like I said earlier, ability to sit tight during tough times is the single most important factor for you to make good returns in equity. Thank you.